Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our preview for Yellowjackets Season 3, Episode 10. This episode is titled Full Circle, and guess what? It's the finale. Now, I know that there's no technical Season 4 renewal at the time of this recording, but it's coming back. We're not going to spend a lot of time worrying about that.
Yeah, I feel like if it was just the finale, they would have just announced it.
Yeah, no, but this episode is going to be insane. I mean, if you guys have seen the promo, we're going to break that down in this video, but
Mhm.
there is so much happening. It does actually seem like we might be going full circle to one thing. You see snow on the ground. All of this is sort of bringing back serious Pit Girl vibes if episode 9 didn't do that already.
Yeah, it feels like maybe we're gonna get a bunch of answers, but it feels like they will bring us some new questions. It looks like maybe we're gonna have another hunt, maybe we're gonna learn who Pit Girl is, and the return of the Antler Queen, who we haven't seen in quite a while. She's at the end of this trailer, so it feels like this is gonna be that whole famed beginning that we have seen at the very beginning of this entire series.
Yeah, like they choose these titles for a reason. Like there's a reason why episode 9 was titled in such a way that suggested an air of finality. I mean, granted, we
Mhm.
didn't know we were going to be losing Van when we first saw that, but this is going to make sense. But just because something is coming full circle, that does not mean that another circle is sort of spiraling around it, you know?
Mhm.
All right, well, we have so much to get into here. Before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yes, we have a lot more coverage of Yellowjackets ahead entering the finale. But
Mhm.
this upcoming stretch for us here at the channel is going to be so busy, so insane. We have the finale of The White Lotus. We have the premiere of The Handmaid's Tale. We have Black Mirror coming back for another stretch of new episodes.
And the one we're really, really excited about is The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It is such a great show. If you haven't checked it out, it's totally worth catching up on to be able to watch it along with us. So hit that subscribe button and also follow us over on our Patreon if you want more Yellow Jackets discussion with us.
Mhm.
And also we cover over on our Patreon exclusively The Pit, which is airing on Max, fantastic show.
Yeah.
And right now we're also covering Bosch Legacy. It is in its final season only over at our Patreon. So thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us over there.
Thank you guys so much. We very much appreciate that.
Okay, tinfoil hat.
Early. Okay, let's do
Very
it.
early in this promo, we see Lottie wearing this like white gown, walking up the stairs where she died with all the candles.
Yeah.
She looks like she's very much expecting to be there and expecting to meet someone there. So, my tinfoil hat theory is we saw Misty see a clone of Lottie's phone in the last episode and have this look on her face like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. I can't believe I missed this. This is what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like to me that the relationship that Callie built with Lottie was enough that we ended up in a situation where Callie's wearing the necklace. The necklace has been seen on people who are the leaders as well as people who are food and sacrifice. So the fact that they spent a lot of time together, I feel like Lottie has probably clued her into a lot of stuff. Is she Callie supposed to be the sacrifice or supposed to be the next queen? And it feels like she's used this to be like, hey, Lottie, we've really bonded. I'd like to meet up and I'd like to be part of the ritual of everything that's going to happen with the Yellowjackets, with stuff that you guys have done in the past, with stuff you might be doing now in the future. You know what? I thought about it. I'm down with the necklace. Let's meet up. And that she has met up and she is the person who ends up killing Lottie. I think we're getting that answer.
Yeah, we've both been on this Callie is gonna kill Lottie train for a little while now, and for good reason. I mean, there's the obvious Shauna DNA part of the equation. There's the part of this where Callie's whereabouts are not fully accounted for. As it turns out, Shauna's alibi, bizarre as it may be, involving a cat, actually does check out here.
Mhm.
So somebody has to be responsible. And, to me, to sort of add to everything you're saying, it makes perfect sense that Callie knows through her amount of time that she spent with Lottie who Lottie is. And Callie's not dumb. And it feels like it's very believable to me that Callie sort of takes a step back here and realizes what a danger Lottie is to her mother. And we know what Callie wants, is she wants to feel close to her mother. And
Mhm.
she's got certain tendencies herself. May we remind everybody as to why she got suspended from school in the first place? Like, that's
Yeah.
not something that normal people tend to do.
Yeah, and Callie is one of the very few Yellowjackets children,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, if Lottie's trying to like continue this on and have it be generational, then her idea of like bringing in Callie in some sort of way and, oh, we can sort of have this ritual and bring you in, or you're going to be the sacrifice, or I'm going to be the sacrifice, whatever it is. We've just seen Lottie going up those stairs. They're filled with candles. She's
Yeah.
wearing this, nightgown. They're all lit. She looks like she's ready for some sort of a ritual. What it is, we don't know yet, but I feel that Callie's the person that's on her way to meet her.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to sort of know, okay, well, what all was Callie planning heading into this meeting? I mean, it feels like she was planning some pretty dark and twisted stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Was she planning to actually go there to kill Lottie, or was she planning to go there to do something else? And it turned into a bit of a struggle where maybe Callie was like, you know what, last minute, I've decided I don't want to be food. And they end up having a bit of a struggle, and Lottie goes down the stairs. It may not be premeditated, but it might be.
It might be. I think if there's a case to be made that if this is somehow spur of the moment here, we saw earlier this season, Lottie was practicing some sort of apology tour here. And
Mhm.
granted, this could be for an entirely different character, but if we are connecting everything in the finale, and this was all meant for Callie, maybe she's apologizing for dumping everything she did or apologizing for the way that she did. But it could be one of these sort of situations, though, where she meets up with Lottie and Lottie is like, I'm so sorry. And then this apology just goes completely haywire. And Callie is just like, what are you apologizing for? Ooh, this isn't right. Oh, this really, really isn't right. Oh, it's killing time now. Like, okay, I'm being a little extreme, but that
This
could
show is extreme.
yeah, this show has had very weird deaths. Like, I don't think it's crazy to think that whatever happens between these two, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be strange. The only thing that I feel reasonably confident about is just from the way in which everything was staged in this promo with Lottie. Like, I don't think that this is something that Lottie did intentionally to herself by any means. I think they're setting up something a lot darker than that.
I'm just, hoping that we're going to get a conclusion with Lottie, with this death, that maybe we're going to actually see, young Lottie with, adult Lottie on the plane like we have with everybody else.
Yeah, it didn't strike me that we didn't see it that much when we first lost the older Lottie earlier this season, but when we lost Van and seeing that moment and like how great those scenes were, that's when I
Mhm.
was just like, why didn't we get this for Lottie? Like, what gives here, Yellow Jackets?
I feel like they probably couldn't share why or how Lottie died. And I feel like adult Lottie will probably be having that conversation with her younger self to be like, oh man, this is how it went out. Wow.
Yeah, there's no reason to save this past the finale at this point. There's gonna be more story to tell later on.
Okay, let's go back into the past.
Okay.
Beep, bop, 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 boop. Okay, we are back into the past
All
where
right.
Shauna is like, we have to show the wilderness respect. We have to have another hunt. We've got past Van actually being like, you're asking me to pick who dies, which feels like something Van wouldn't do. I know, like, she's not by any means like innocent and wholesome, but for me, her and Natalie are kind of the two people that feel like they still have some sort of a moral compass that they are trying to hold on to.
Okay, first and foremost, wilderness. You gotta be like fat and happy at this point. You
Right?
gotta be like, after, I'm a little bit of a pizza fiend, and even though I've been trying to lose weight so far this year, it's like you get a pizza in front of me. I'm supposed to eat like 3 slices, I eat like 5. In the wilderness, you have already fed on Coach Ben. You have Edwin, you have Cody.
Cody.
You're in good shape. You do not need any more right now.
Yeah, you are well fed, but and especially with Coach Ben, because that was quite a ritual that was going
Yes.
on there, and that wasn't that long ago. So, yeah, how are we here again? Where it's like, oh, we need to have another hunt. We need to show the wilderness respect, and we saw the Antler Queen at the end of this promo. So this this very much feels like this is the setup for who is going to end up in that pit. There's only a few options here if this is in the past. And, we're going to see the Antler Queen, but are we actually going to see who it is? That's the bigger question. She'll be back, but she's going to have on the whole headdress.
Yeah, that's the part of it that's exciting to me, is that the whole full circle thing. There's obviously a part of this that's being tied to presumably the pit and Pit Girl and all of that based on the timeline, but then also the full Antler Queen regalia. Because yeah, Natalie was appointed to be leader at the end of last season, but her leadership tenure already seems like it's basically at an end at this point.
Yeah, it is. And for me, I'm really hoping, I know I have my hard hat on
All
because
right,
we're
all right.
probably not going to get all the answers, but
No.
I'm actually really hoping that this show does not leave who is Pit Girl and who is the Antler Queen till the very end of the show. Like, this is a show that, they've said that they want to go on for 5 seasons, if there could be 2 more, then you can bring in new mysteries and new ways to get us excited and have all the fun theories with it. It doesn't have to be every season, who is Pit Girl, who is Antler Queen. You can answer those questions this season with this big, huge finale, and then move us into the next season with a bunch of new questions.
That's easily possible. You guys don't have to string every single part of this along for an extremely long amount of time.
This does not need to be the Blacklist, where at the very end of like a million seasons, they still don't give you a straight answer.
No, and I think it's just like, I'm just sitting here assuming that the new Antler Queen is Shauna, just because that makes the most sense based on Shauna sort of leading the charge with some of this stuff at this point. We know how brutal Shauna is. It's like, okay, that makes sense. If it's not Shauna, I'm going to be surprised, if I'm being honest.
It is the friends we made along the way.
No.
Okay, no, it's not. They have to just show us who it is. There's no reason to keep this a secret anymore.
No.
Why are you going to show her in this promo for the finale and then not just tell us who it is? I'm going to be very mad in this next video if they're like hyping this up again to just be like, ha ha ha.
Okay,
wait another season.
Here's the part of it that I'm a little bit concerned about, is just that we have these promises now, presumably, of Pit Girl, the Antler Queen. We know Misty is maybe working on a way to get everybody rescued due to the transponder that she hid from everybody. But don't rush all of this. I'm a little bit concerned that this finale is going to rush into the Antler Queen reveal, rush into Pit Girl, because we already have a major climate change in the finale already with snow everywhere. We don't need to speed through all of this. I'm okay. Honestly, I'm okay not getting everything in the finale. You can tell us who Pit Girl is and the Antler Queen is, but I don't need the rescue to happen now. That's really what I'm getting at, because we've waited this long for the entire Antler Queen costume. Somebody's going to put that on. Terrible stuff's going to happen. And then 2 minutes later, it's going to be like, oh, we can get out of here. Nothing happened. Everything is fine.
I am more excited to find out who the Antler Queen is at this point than Pit Girl, because it does seem like they might be setting this up to be Hannah, where when I go back and I rewatch that first scene, that actress is a teenager. That is not someone who is, Hannah seems to be like she's portrayed in her 30s. This actress is actually almost 40. And I'm not saying that just like, oh, she looks like she's 40, but she does not look like she's 16 years old. And so for me, if they end up, that's the big reveal, that it's Hannah. You guys could have never guessed all these years because you didn't know she existed. That's to me like a very wah-wah kind of moment. I really like, well, we both really like, we cover sort of murder mysteries and mysteries in general here all the time at the channel. We love doing reviews and previews, but man, we love theories and diving into theories where maybe there's tiny threads of something you might be able to pull together. If it's Hannah, that was never going to be anything that anyone was ever going to be able to pull together in season 1.
No, and if it's Hannah, then it also just feels like midway through the show's run, they kind of just determined, and we've talked about this, they didn't originally think Pit Girl was going to be a big thing. Like that they were eventually going to be like, well, we got to give people something that will get them talking now, so now we'll do this, and that's not going to get them talking the right way.
Yes, this can't be like Severance. And we've talked about this
Yes.
before here at the channel too, where spoiler alert, cover your ears if you don't want to hear. The very beginning of Severance, season 1, had like this throwaway scene with some goats, and everyone was like, oh, the goats, are they cloning
Yeah.
people? The AI? Like, what's going on with these, DNA goats? And the show had come out and was like, oh, it was just kind of this throwaway scene. We didn't have anything planned with these goats. And then going into season 2, they were like, well, everybody wants the goats and they want answers with the goats. So now we're going to put in all this stuff with the goats. And the goat reveal was like, that was it. Like, we all sat around with these like great fan theories of what the goats could be about. And we're just like, wah, 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 wah. Ba,
No.
ba, ba, ba.
Okay, no, I I am expecting the pit girl to reveal to let us down a little bit, and I'm not trying to be too pessimistic about it. It's just like if it's Hannah, then it's gonna feel like a cop out. If it's Jen or Mari, I'll be more upset if it's Mari. Jen, we've barely seen over the course of the show. It's like there's just a limited number of names. To me, I'm more curious about where are some of the people who aren't accounted for in the present right now? Like what happens to, whoever survives between Mari and Jen? What happens to Akila? Like there's still question marks that are there.
Yeah.
Now, what I am kind of curious about is while I don't want there to be a rescue in the finale, I'm going to make that very, very clear
Mm-hmm.
because I think it'll be rushed. If we do get a rescue in the finale, it seems like we're then going to move into like this new pseudo era in season 4 where we have sort of people in the immediate aftermath of the
Mm-hmm.
rescue. And like that could be interesting. They've teased that timeline here and there already, but is Yellowjackets as a show going to be as exciting if we're kind of taking out the Lord of the Flies aspect of it and nobody's really in the wilderness anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I think that the rescue just it can't be now. I know that we've got, Misty's working on this, phone to try to be able to get some sort of rescue. Natalie's now seen about this phone. What's going to be the most interesting thing to me is Natalie. Natalie had the biggest breakdown in this past, in the past episode where she was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, rescue is gone. Here's this phone, there's this possibility, whatever. The synopsis makes me feel like these two groups of girls are going to be really divided, that it is really going to be divided, but that there was an interesting line in the synopsis which was Natalie tries living on the edge, and it
Yeah.
makes me wonder if she is actually just going to go out on her own.
I would not be upset or surprised if that happens. And they've planted enough seeds that makes 100% certainty here.
Yeah.
Now, I've got two tinfoil hats before we double tinfoil before we wrap this
Oh,
up
all
here.
right.
Okay, so number one, they're going to have the rescue happen maybe a few episodes into season 4. And here's why that happens. I mean, timeline wise, it makes sense. You have a little bit more space to do everything in the past to show some relationships building, especially with Hannah there. But you also still want to get people excited about more wilderness entering that season. And then you can ease them into the after wilderness life and prove that it's still interesting. And you're not kind of leaving people excited or not excited for that life and only that life after this season and there's no more wilderness left. Okay.
Yeah, they can't make it more like Lost, where once everybody got off the island,
Yeah.
it was like more about what was going on off the island, and the stuff with the island was almost non existent.
Yeah.
That was the toughest ride with Lost, which was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, and then they had to make it where they eventually got to we have to go back.
That's
And
right, you have to go back.
okay, now the other thing that intrigues me, I mean, you mentioned the Natalie part from the synopsis.
Mhm.
The Ty part of the synopsis to me is very, very interesting, where she says Ty wants to leave nothing to chance. And my takeaway from this is that Ty's going to try to understandably go and kill Melissa at this point because
Yes.
Melissa just killed Van.
Yes.
Is Melissa going to survive this finale? I will just say you put all this time into Hilary Swank. If you get rid of Hilary Swank after just a few episodes, I am going to be like table flipping levels of mad. It's like you can't do this with an actress who is this renowned. We might be mad at Hilary Swank, but at the same time, we need her in season 4. We need a foil.
Yeah, maybe she will be the big bad going into the next season, because it does feel very much like what she said to Van when she killed Van, was that she was looking for some sort of a sacrifice. She is still working with the wilderness in some sort of a way. So if that's the case, then she can be the big foil for who we have left, because we don't have that many Yellow Jackets left anymore at this
No,
point. We need more survivors.
we need more survivors. And if that is fully the case with Melissa, we need a mystery as to what she's really out to do. And I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could mine and dig into there.
Yes.
But that is what we have entering the Yellow Jacket season 3 finale. As you can probably tell, we're very excited. We hope you
Mhm.
guys are too. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions. What sort of cliffhanger are you expecting? And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other coverage, like Jess said earlier, especially with The Last of Us right on the horizon. And you can support us further. Join our Patreon. That link is in the description. We are covering the pit exclusively in video form over
Mhm.
there, in addition to Botch Legacy. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.